Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Barrett with Espresso Outlet. I wanted to do some pour over testing with the DF64V today. I was going to do two pour over tests. The first one was going to be at the full 1800 RPMs. It should be pretty similar to my DF64 with the high uniformity SSP burrs in it. At least that's what I'm assuming. Remember that these are more espresso centered burrs, so it might be a little bit muddy, but I kind of like a little bit of that in my pour overs. So to start off, I have some water. It's been preheating for a little while. I roasted this Ethiopian probably about a week ago. It's actually really good right now. It's kind of in its prime. So to start off with, let's weigh out. I'm going to do 20 grams, so we're going to do a 15-to-1 brew ratio. So we're going to do 20 grams of coffee beans and 300 grams of water. Let's see if I can dump it out. Pretty much right at 20. Okay, so on our DF64V, we have it set at the max RPM, which is 1800 RPM. And I like to do a hot start on it. So I'm going to do a little bit of RDT in these beans and give it a shake with my hand over the top. Probably don't need to do this, but I have my little bean carrier, and I like to do a hot start. So grinder's running. I forgot to mention this is on setting 50. We're going to give that a try. I've been running it on 45, and I wanted to see if 50 would do a little bit better, just in terms of the drawdown. So usually I give it a nice little stir with a WDT, and we have our cup. Just using a standard V60 filter, paper filter. Grabbed it out of my filter keeper on the wall. And we're going to give it a little rinse. Okay, so we're all set up, and I rinsed the filter out. Let's pour our coffee in. Make sure we get it all out. And I am doing the 15-to-1 as I mentioned. Where's this thing? There we go. 15-to-1 brew ratio, so we have 20 grams of ground coffee, and we're going to do 300 grams of water. I'm going to do it in probably 2 to 3 pours. I usually do my bloom at about 80 grams. Everything nice and wet. Okay, let's do our next pour. I usually do the second pour up to about 200. If you got a spoon, I use the top of a spoon. I like to give it a nice swirl. And let's top off with the last 100. I usually like my drawdown to be done within 3 minutes. That's usually what I shoot for on V60. I know some people, they like to go coarser. I like the finer, a little bit stronger coffee personally, so it usually takes a little bit longer on the drawdown, going a little bit finer. This is again on setting 50. This is probably about as fine as I would even consider doing a V60. You'd probably go coarser, honestly. We actually might end up doing another test on this. This is setting 50. Let's go to maybe setting 60 and do another cup after this. So I'm gonna say this is pretty much done. There's just a little bit left. Let's look at just the top of it a little bit. It's maybe a little bit muddy. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of pull back. So it's just kind of on the surface and on the edges. But there is kind of a thin layer of fines, but that's to be expected with espresso burrs. And I guarantee your other grinders are doing it too if they have similar burrs. But I was just kind of curious on how muddy it might look and how thick of a layer it would be. Someone mentioned that it looked muddy. I don't really think it's that bad at all. I have a Ditting that really excels at drip coffee, and it looks very similar to this. Usually there's just some fines on top, but I wanted to just point that out so everyone could see what it looks like, because eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap these burrs out for the SSP multi-purpose, just to try it on a more like brew-centric burr set instead of an espresso burr set. Okay, so let's try this cup, and I'm probably going to fast track the next few tests, but I want to just do an initial test. This is setting 50 of the V60 at 1800 RPM, so it's full speed on this DF64V. I'd say it could go a little bit coarser, so I think that would be a good test to do. But I really wanted to test between the RPM. So we're going to do another quick V60 pour. We're going to, I think we're going to up it to, let's just jump to 60 and see how that goes. See if it's, I think it's just a bit strong, but it's not bad. So yeah, let's go up to setting 60, and we'll keep it on the same RPM just to get our baseline for the 1800, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slow it down to the 600 RPMs and see if we can tell a difference. Okay, I got everything set up for our next pour, and I want to make sure to change this to setting 60, so I'm going to turn on this grinder and we're just going to adjust it to 60. So it's already running and we're at 1800 RPMs. We're doing a hot dose start. We are getting a little static, but it's all just the chaff. I know that this is a really early model. It's actually the serial number 1. So I've been told that they have a slightly different declumper that works better. So that'll be the one that everyone's getting, and I'll be getting an upgraded one for this here soon. So added some more water and we're getting it hot, so I'll get everything prepped for the next pour. Okay, so again, we're on 1800 RPMs. We upped it to setting 60 on the DF64V, and we're going to do another pour test. So we're going to do it the same as before. I've pre-rinsed this filter. We're going to bloom about 80, and we're going to top it off to 300. Went a little over. Needed to get everything wet. My dang timer didn't start. and it reset itself. So, okay, we were at 90. This time more stuff is finicky. Get what you pay for, I guess. So we'll want to top this off to 210 since I already put 90 in. And I goofed up the scale by trying to get the timer to start, but I know where we're at. We're going to do about 300. Keep everything the same. We're just going to stop it at 210. That should be 300, including the 90 that we started with. Let's give it a nice stir. And I have my camera time, so we can use that as the timer. We're at about, I'd say 2.5 minutes right now. It's going quite a bit quicker, I think, which is probably going to taste a little bit better than the setting 50 that we started at. Okay, we'll say that's done right there. We're at least on the record time, we're about 3 minutes, 50 seconds. So, yeah, it's about 3.5 minutes for the entire drawdown. It looks slightly less muddy. I mean, I can see more of the grounds through it. Let me position so you can see better. So just like we did on setting 50, I'm going to kind of scrape back the side just to show you a little bit of fine stuck to the side. Really not that much on top. There's a little bit. Like I said, these are espresso bursts, so it's to be expected. I think it's actually going to be a really awesome cut. Alright, let's do a quick taste test. It's cooled for a minute or so. Smells good. Much more balanced. Okay, setting 60 is definitely pretty legit for at least these beans on the V60. It's going to change from bean to bean, but this is 1800 RPMs at setting 60. Let's go down to 600. Let's brew just another cup. See where we're at. Okay, so we're at the exact same setting, and the only difference is going to be that I changed it to the 600 RPM. I've pre-weighed, done the RDT, hot starting, so it's running right now, and let's pour it in. This is as slow as this grinder will go. I still consider it a very quiet grinder. I really enjoyed how quiet it is. It's just kind of a different sound. Let me prep for another cup. Okay, so just to give you a quick reminder, this is the DF64V on setting 60 and 600 RPM. So this is our third cup, and let's take a look at some of the fines again on the side, because I know everyone was super worried about that. And I'd say it's about the same. And also, not a big deal. Filter out, and let's give it a quick taste test. It's sat for about a minute, so should be pretty good. I know this one's gotten a little cool. So this is at the full 1800 RPMs. It's cooled down a bit, but not that much. It's only been a couple minutes. I mean, it's just a great cup, but I want to see if I can tell a big difference between the 600 and the 1800 RPMs. I mean, my personal opinion on this is it's just a little bit cleaner tasting. It tastes, I guess, brighter more than anything. Okay. So that's 3 tests, the 50, the 60, and then we did the 60 at 1800 and the 60, setting 60 at 600. I will say that I can tell a difference, and I think it is a good difference. I've been telling a difference with espresso. I'm going to do some espresso here in a little bit, and I've noticed I like it around 1200 RPM. I feel like it just makes a really nice cup of espresso at 1200 RPMs. I was a little bit, I don't know if I was skeptical because I know variable RPM grinders have been around, but it was really my first experience with one, so just trying to get my head wrapped around like what's different, what am I going to get out of it. I actually do like the slightly slower speeds. 600, I might not go that low, but I'd say if I was choosing between these two, I'd probably choose the slower for sure. Yeah, just much cleaner. Alright, so let's just kind of wrap up what we looked at today. Just first time doing a video on the DF64V. We chose the Chemex today, just use, or not Chemex, V60 today, and just use standard filter papers. Made very nice clean cups. I could tell a fairly significant difference between the RPMs, more than maybe I was expecting. On the 600 RPM, which is in this cup, it just, man, it's just such a clean, nice tasting cup. I need to do some more testing with the stock DLC burrs. Remember, these are espresso burrs, but espresso burrs, they do make pretty good drip coffee. I've been using them for years and makes great drip coffee. But what I want to do after I do a little bit more testing in the espresso wheelhouse on this is to put the SSP MP burrs in it. And then we'll do probably another test. We'll have to dial it in. I want to use it in espresso, and then I want to use it in the V60 setting. Probably going to do an AeroPress in this. I know a lot of people run AeroPress. We have an AeroPress right here. So AeroPress I think is going to be pretty awesome in this. We can probably go a little bit finer. Like we started out at 50. I bet we could run 50 in the AeroPress and it's going to be spot on. 60 was pretty legit for the V60 drawdown times. So you can maybe even go coarser if that's how you like it, but I wouldn't go any less than probably 50 or 60 for your V60. Let me know if you have any questions. Just need to get some more testing done on the espresso, and then we're gonna have some fun with some different burrs. So make sure to subscribe and check back. Thanks for watching.